pretty much everything you need to know about Virgin Galactic Stock. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and a lot of people are speaking about this company right now. Virgin Galactic is a company that I personally initially bought more than a year ago. It was back in June of last year, and we've been following them ever since, and we've been speaking about them on this YouTube channel ever since. And I have seen more and more people get interested in this company as time has gone on, for one reason or the other. And Virgin Galactic is at an extraordinarily pivotal stage of its life cycle right now. Down to this happening only a matter of days ago, Virgin Galactic's first fully crewed space flight. And there we see the man himself, Richard Branson, floating around in space. So I understand why people are so excited right now. But to those who haven't been following Virgin Galactic for a while and are only really seeing people speaking about this one particular space flight, I want to make this video for you guys and, you know, for the people who have been following them a long time. And so I want to speak about the basics, you know, what the company actually does, what the mission is, what the vision is for the company. What have they done so far, both the good and the bad, because there's quite a history here. Virgin Galactic was founded back in 2004, my friends, and they just had their first fully crewed space flight. There is a lot of history there. We will speak about recent news and accomplishments such as this one. We will take a look into the company's market cap and some of the other fundamentals surrounding it. Not to mention, we will take a look at the price history and see what the technicals have to say. We're going to speak about what needs to happen now, what needs to happen next for this to continue to be a good investment. We'll speak about some investors of note, some of the history, the short interest, the Reddit army, and a few more bits and pieces. Basically, I just want to give you guys a relatively good understanding of the company, because it's very, very easy to get caught up in the excitement. It's very easy to say, wow, Richard Branson just went to space, I want to buy this company. But there really is a lot more to it than that. So my friends, quite a bit of work went into this video. Could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button if you do enjoy it and you would like more videos such as this one? Drop me a comment down below. Let me know, are you a Virgin Galactic investor and when did you first buy this company? And please, my friend, if you are indeed new around here, consider hitting that juicy red subscribe button and joining the family of investors. Also, if you are interested in joining my private Discord group, that'll be the first link in the description. In there, you will get access to all of my buy and sell alerts, and we do have a standalone channel to discuss Virgin Galactic news. So with that being said, let's just get down to the basics of it. Who are Virgin Galactic? What do they do? What do they want to do? Because again, a lot of people just see Richard Branson floating around in space. A good place to start is with the mission, okay? Our mission is to be the space line for Earth. Means we focus on using space for good while delivering an unparalleled customer experience. We are developing and operating a new generation of space vehicles to open space for everyone. I think that's the first thing to understand and the first thing to really consider if you're investing in this company. The biggest part of this company is bringing the everyday person to space. Now, there is more to the company and there are more revenue opportunities that the company have, such as payloads with NASA, etc., which we will more than likely see on the next quarterly update. But what you really are investing in my personal opinion and the opinion of many others, is commercial spaceflight. And that's a pretty bold thing to invest in. It's a brand new market for the mega rich. Tickets are currently about $250,000. With that being said, there is a waiting list. There is prepaid customers already. As far as we can see, the demand does currently exist. But that's what you're investing in. So just understand that from the very start. There are lots of different ways to invest in the space industry as a whole. And this is one that really is a standalone company as of this moment in time. Do you want to invest in satellites? Do you want to invest in going to Mars? What do you really want to get out of space? Just please make sure to ask yourself that question. Okay, so what has the company actually done so far? Because at the start of the video, I mentioned they were founded back in 2004, and literally just a matter of days ago, they had their first fully crewed test flight. What's been going on for 17 years? Honestly, the easiest place to get a good understanding of this is on the Wikipedia page. In July 2008, Richard Branson predicted the maiden space voyage would take place within 18 months. 18 months, my friends. It proceeded to take closer to 11 years. This is something that Virgin Galactic was notoriously known for, was delays. That was one of the main reasons that people were, relatively afraid to invest for a long time. I personally expect this, when the markets turn around, to turn into a huge catalyst. People will be very, very happy this flight happened. The 7th of December 2009, Spaceship 2 was unveiled, okay? Branson told the 300 people attending, each of whom had booked rides at $200,000 each, that flights would begin in 2011. So I think that really does just show how many delays there were. Very, very sadly, October 2014, okay, the 4th rocket-powered test flight of the company's first Spaceship 2 craft ended in disaster as it broke apart in mid-air. Sadly, the co-pilot lost his life in this situation, and the other pilot was seriously injured. So for very obvious reason, this pushed things back absolutely massively for the company, and again, was one of the single biggest risk factors when deciding whether or not you personally want to invest in this company. I mean, now we've seen the confidence Richard Branson obviously has in the product, considering that he went up in the first fully crewed space flight. So I think that should alleviate a lot of that concern. But guys, keep in mind, a lot of this is still relatively uncharted territory. We are still dealing with space. At the end of the day, it's going to carry huge risks, but this put things way, way back for Virgin Galactic. So that's obviously some of the good and some of the bad. The best thing that happened pretty much was this flight where Richard Branson went to space. For more than a year on this channel, I've been saying this is pretty much the biggest catalyst we could hope for. It's a shame that it came when, the growth market is doing very poorly, but it is what it is. One more thing is this. Virgin Galactic falls 17% after it gets set to sell $500 million in stock following Branson's successful flight. If you're new to the channel, I've voiced my opinion on things like this several times. In the long term, I don't mind them happening. In the short term, yes, it's bad. You lose money if you sell. But in the long term, it's going to give the company some much needed capital in order to, expand hopefully a little bit quicker. We should be looking at commercial flights as early as potentially the first half of next year, which we will speak about a little bit later. And that is what us as investors need to happen in order to make money continually. So just know that this has happened. I'm bringing it up because this is currently one of the biggest dictating factors of the share price and potentially why it can't go up right now. Temporarily, I'm going to be very small in the corner of the screen, but something we should look at is the price history. You'll see when they went public, there was actually an initial dip and then this huge upward move all the way peaking out at about $42 a share before crashing back down to $9. Virgin Galactic is one of probably the most volatile companies I have ever seen, especially considering the fact it is currently worth $7.42 billion. It's not like it's worth 100 million or 200 million and can move 50% in a day. It's worth a very considerable amount of money, and considering it's fallen more than 50% from its peaks, you can see just how volatile that is. So there was this very long period of time where the company traded pretty much between maybe 14 to 20-ish dollars a share. And any OGs on the channel remember I loved them at 15 and I really liked them at 17. Obviously now we'll have to reevaluate a bit. Things have changed. Things have gotten better for the company, but that's what we said on the channel for a very long time. There was some good news. We went up. We came right back down. We went up. We came back down. We went up. We came back down. Then things got a little bit crazy. We will touch on this towards the end of the video. There was good news coming out here, but a lot of this was artificial. It was coming from Reddit. It was because there was an extraordinarily high short interest. A lot of people were calling Virgin Galactic the next GameStop at the time because, people wanted to attack anybody who was shorting anything, which did lead to this huge upward move. But ultimately, you can see it came right back to where it was and even proceeded to go down lower. A large part of the reason it came all the way back down here, my friends, okay, was from the last earnings. There was some delays announced. People were not happy. Me, I didn't really care at the time, in all honesty, because look what happened. I knew as soon as the delays, we got actual dates, as soon as the test flights happened, this would happen, and it did. It shot back up in value nearly 300% before crashing back down nearly 50%. The reason I just went through pretty much the entire history of price action here is to show you guys the volatility so that you're aware of it before you decide to jump into this company. Also, keep in mind, we have a market cap of 7.42 billion. Ask yourself the question, why? If we have a look at our first quarter 2021 financial results, there's no income, okay? The company isn't making money. Now, the company isn't pre-revenue, but the company's not making much money whatsoever. That's why, again, this capital raise is indeed going to be necessary. On our next earnings report, there more than likely will be $1 million or so from NASA for a payload mission. But again, guys, what's $1 million to a $7.42 billion company with borderline zero revenue. This is really the definition of a high risk growth stock. You are hoping that this company will be extraordinarily successful in the future, hoping being a very key word in all honesty, coming from an investor who has been following the company for over a year, and you're willing to take on a lot more risk. You're willing to pay much higher premiums. So when it comes to, you know, any sort of ratios or fundamentals, things are going to look absolutely horrific. So again, be aware of that. And if that's the kind of investor you are, more than likely this is not the company for you, unless you know you want to dedicate a certain percentage of your portfolio to these higher risk options. Now, what needs to happen next? Again, something when you're investing is an extraordinarily important question to ask. You can't just look at what has happened in the past, what has caused the stock to go up or down. You have to figure out what needs to happen next for the stock to go up. Because if those things don't happen, if those things are unattainable, the stock is more than likely going to go down. So about a week ago, we got this Virgin Galactic President Mike Moses on what's next for the company's growing fleet. The last of the Spaceliner's test flights have begun and commercial operation is in sight. Realistically, this is what we need, commercial operation. So let's figure out what has to happen for that to happen. So the caller asks, can you tell me what's left to test and when do you expect to finish the test flight phase? And Moses says the test flight series that we're kind of in right now and the flight with Richard was the first of those, represents a shift from what was more classic and traditional envelope testing to where we are now. They've laid out a series of a few flights, 3 to be specific, that both demonstrate key product milestones and features, as well as allow us time to iterate and develop and optimize some of that back of cabin experience. They're going to do these flights over the course of the summer and late summer. Very important to understand, my friends. There's going to be a lot of news over the next 2 months or so. There's going to be a lot of volatility. They'll be ready to move into, as we announced during our previous earnings call, if you listened, you'll be aware, a modification phase. This is where they're going to do some upgrades on the mothership and our spaceship to prepare them for commercial service. This is why more than likely as early as the first half of next year, there will be commercial flights happening. There will be real steady income. So in the relatively short term, I think that sums it up. I think that is what needs to happen. Things need to continue going at the pace they are. We need to keep making progress at this rate. Now, in the long term, what needs to happen? We need way more expansion, obviously. We need proof that, you know, there are enough people who continue paying for these flights, that there's enough multimillionaires and billionaires out there, which from the data we have, it seems that there is, in all honesty. I know to most of us everyday people, spending that money on a flight seems like the most insane thing in the world. But there's people out there with more money than they know what to do with. We're looking to have somewhere in the realms of 300 to 350 flights a year in the not so long term, in the medium term. So that's what needs to happen next, my friends. If we continue to see this rate of execution, if we continue to see the team doing the things that they're doing, working at this rate, I personally see this stock price making all-time highs over the coming months. In the meantime, it might do anything. It might come back down to some of these really strong, prominent levels. It's never really worried me when it has, in all honesty. I want to speak about some investors of note. Obviously, we have Richard Branson. We have Virgin Group. Tamad Palapatsia, a lot of people will be aware of. Great investor. He's chairman. CEO is Michael Colglazier. CFO is Doug. And president of safety is Mike Moses, who we just saw an article on. And you can see that pretty much all of these big guys have actually sold shares over the past months. Funnily enough, the majority of them were sold around the $24 to $30 mark. They went up a lot higher. When it comes to institutions, mutual funds, you'll see a lot of Vanguard are in there. See BlackRock funds, Vanguard again, Mobadella, Morgan Stanley. We have a lot of big investors. And really quickly, I did touch on it earlier on. This stock, as an actual stock, has been heavily manipulated on several occasions. Sometimes by actual analysts, but sometimes by the everyday investor themselves. Every now and again, Virgin Galactic is one of the companies that pops up on Wall Street Bets. It's one of the ones that gets up there with the AMCs and the GameStops because a lot of the time the short interest has been so considerable. And things like that lead to moves like this and moves like this. That's why when I see it come all the way back down here to where it pretty much was, even a little bit lower, I can't be too surprised. Again, the majority of this move here was artificial. Some people will argue that, but I personally, in my opinion, it was. So be aware of that. At any given time, you are susceptible to that huge volatility in an already hugely volatile company. If you watch this video all the way till the end and you are potentially, you know, considering investing in this company for the first time, please do yourself a favor and go over to Virgin Galactic Investor Relations, okay? Go in there, so much information in here. Spend a few hours reading through some of their most recent events and presentations, reading through the latest news, look at the management team, read through the mission, familiarize yourself with the company, look at some of the news. You are going to learn an awful lot about this company. Also, if you just Google Virgin Galactic Stock and go to news, read through a lot of these articles, you're going to get a lot of opinions. You're not going to only get the bulls' opinions, but you're going to get the bears too. That's what really needs to be done, keeping up to date with these companies, my friends. It really is that simple. But if you have watched this video all the way until now, I really do hope that I was able to give you some value. Again, quite a lot of work went into this video. It's not often that we go back through the basics of a company I've been speaking about for over a year on the channel. So hopefully somebody out there was able to appreciate it, and hopefully we helped somebody out there, baby. If you have watched all the way till the end, you, my friend, are a true legend. I really do appreciate you being here. Hopefully, again, I was able to give you, some solid information, some entertainment as well. If I did, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? Maybe drop me a comment down below. And please, my friend, subscribe if you're new around here. Again, if you are interested in that private Discord group, first link in the description. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. I'll see you in another video very soon. Peace.